Dive into the early years of Emperor Maximinus Thrax, born in a humble shepherd family in Thrace. Tucked away in the rugged landscapes of Thrace, a young Gaius Julius Verus Maximinus was far from the grandeur of Rome, unaware of the destiny that awaited him. As a boy, his life was simple, tending to his family's flock, but his extraordinary physical strength set him apart from his peers. As a young man, he was enlisted in the Roman army, not for his lineage or wealth, but for his remarkable strength and military prowess. His rise from a common soldier to the Emperor of Rome was as dramatic as it was unexpected. Maximinus Thrax was a man of sheer power. His physical might mirrored in his strategic military mind. His path to power was marked by relentless determination, unyielding courage, and a keen understanding of the Roman military. From humble beginnings, Maximinus Thrax carved a path to the highest seat of power in Rome. Maximinus's rise to the throne was as extraordinary as it was unexpected. Born of humble origins, he was a soldier, a giant of a man, known for his extraordinary strength and military prowess. His journey to the throne was paved by the turmoil of the times and the unfortunate demise of his predecessor, Emperor Severus Alexander. In the year 235, the young and inexperienced Alexander met his end at the hands of his own troops, disgruntled by his handling of a Germanic invasion. In the chaos that ensued, it was Maximinus, the formidable Thracian soldier, who emerged as the leader. His appointment as emperor was unorthodox, influenced more by the will of the army than the traditional line of succession. But Maximinus was not a man to be deterred by convention. He embraced his new role with the same vigor he had shown on the battlefield. A soldier at heart, Maximinus Thrax assumed the mantle of an emperor, marking a new era in Roman history. Maximinus's reign, though brief, was marked by significant events. Thrust onto the throne in 235, Maximinus was a soldier emperor, more comfortable on the battlefield than in the halls of political power. His reign, lasting a mere 3 years, was characterized by military campaigns, power struggles, and economic upheaval. Maximinus's major military campaigns, driven by his soldiers' instincts, were directed towards the Germanic tribes who threatened the empire's borders. His aggressive tactics led to decisive victories, earning him respect among the legions. However, these campaigns were not without their costs. The immense resources required strained the empire's coffers, leading to increased taxes and economic hardship for the citizens. In the political arena, Maximinus's relationship with the Senate was fraught with tension. He was the first emperor never to set foot in Rome during his reign, ruling instead from the front lines of his military campaigns. This geographical distance and his low-born status created a rift with the Senate, which was filled with members of the aristocracy. This tension would prove to be a significant challenge throughout his reign. The economic conditions of the empire during Maximinus's reign were no less challenging. His military campaigns required vast resources, leading to increased taxation. The empire's citizens, already burdened by economic hardship, were pushed further into destitution. This led to civil unrest and dissatisfaction with Maximinus's rule. Despite these challenges, Maximinus proved to be a resilient and determined leader. He was a formidable military strategist, achieving significant victories against the empire's enemies. However, his reign was a period of turbulence and uncertainty for the Roman Empire. Despite his military successes, Maximinus's reign was fraught with challenges, both internal and external. Under Maximinus Thrax, the Roman Empire experienced a mix of stability and turmoil. Thrax's reign, although brief, had an undeniable impact on the empire's trajectory. Maximinus, a military man through and through, prioritized the Roman army's strength and efficiency. He increased the soldiers' pay by almost half, a move that won him their loyalty but strained the empire's treasury. This was a time of heavy taxes and economic hardship for the common people, a burden they bore grudgingly. The empire's social fabric was also in flux during this period. Maximinus, himself of humble origins, promoted men of low birth to high positions, a stark departure from the traditional Roman practice of favoring the aristocracy. This shift led to a brewing resentment among the Roman elites, further adding to the political instability. On the political front, Maximinus's reign was marked by a series of revolts and internal conflicts. His refusal to visit Rome, the heart of the empire, did little to endear him to the Senate, which viewed him as a rough, uncultured soldier unfit for the throne. Meanwhile, provinces in Africa and Italy declared their independence, refusing to acknowledge Maximinus's authority. Yet, amidst this turmoil, Maximinus managed to repel the Germanic tribes that threatened the empire's borders. demonstrating his military prowess. But these victories were overshadowed by the ongoing civil war and the discontent brewing within the empire's heartlands. The Roman Empire under Maximinus Thrax was a paradox. It was a time of military strength, but also of economic strain. A time when the social order was upturned, yet the empire's borders held firm. It was a period of intense internal conflict, yet also of significant external victories. Maximinus's reign, while marked by military successes, was also a time of economic hardship and political instability. His rule, though brief, left an indelible mark on the Roman Empire, shaping its future in ways that would reverberate for centuries to come. The end of Maximinus's reign was as tumultuous as his ascension. The seeds of his downfall were sown within the same fertile soil that had once nurtured his climb to power, his own military. As the years passed, his heavy-handed rule and ceaseless wars drained the empire's resources and the patience of his subjects. His relation with the Senate was always a tricky one. He was the first emperor who had never set foot in Rome, and his disregard for the Senate's authority only widened the chasm between them. The Senate, feeling marginalized, orchestrated a rebellion against him, declaring two of their own, Pupienus and Balbinus, as co-emperors. This act of defiance against Maximinus marked the beginning of a civil war in the Roman Empire. Meanwhile, Maximinus was away, fighting on the Germanic front. Upon hearing the news of the Senate's revolt, he raced towards Rome with his army, determined to crush the rebellion. But his journey was marred by obstacles. His army was plagued by famine and disease as they crossed the Alps, further eroding their loyalty towards him. The final blow came when Maximinus's army reached Aquileia, a city loyal to the Senate. The city closed its gates to the emperor, and a siege ensued. However, as the siege dragged on, the soldiers' morale plummeted. They had grown weary of Maximinus's relentless ambitions and the hardships they had to endure because of them. In a decisive turn of events, some of his soldiers, disillusioned and desperate, assassinated Maximinus, along with his son, in their tent in the year 238 CE. The city of Aquileia, upon hearing the news, opened its gates, and the Senate's rule was restored. In a twist of fate, Maximinus Thrax, the emperor who rose to power through the army, met his end at the hands of his own soldiers. His death marked the end of a reign characterized by turbulence and strife, a reign that would be remembered as a stark example of the perils of unchecked ambition and power. Despite his brief reign, Maximinus Thrax left a lasting legacy in Roman history. A man of humble origins, Maximinus rose through the ranks to become the emperor of the Roman Empire, forever changing the perception of what was possible in this ancient civilization. Maximinus Thrax is often recognized for his military reforms. As a soldier himself, he understood the needs and concerns of his troops. He increased the pay of soldiers, a move that strengthened his relationship with the army, and boosted morale among the ranks. This not only solidified his position, but also set a precedent for future emperors, underlining the importance of maintaining strong ties with the military. However, his reign wasn't without controversy. Maximinus's reliance on the military to maintain power led to a significant shift in the relationship between the army and the emperor. The military became increasingly influential in political matters, a trend that would continue long after Maximinus's death. This development was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it strengthened the empire's military prowess. On the other, it created a dangerous precedent where the army's loyalty was often the deciding factor in who would ascend to the throne. Maximinus Thrax also played a significant role in the crisis of the 3rd century, a tumultuous period marked by frequent changes in leadership, economic instability, and external threats. His ascension to the throne, driven by the army's support rather than lineage or political maneuvering, signaled the beginning of this era. His rule, characterized by military campaigns and conflict with the Senate, further exacerbated the crisis. Despite his tumultuous reign, Maximinus Thrax's influence on the Roman Empire is undeniable. His military reforms, his unconventional rise to power, and his role in the crisis of the 3rd century are all integral parts of his legacy. Maximinus Thrax, a remarkable figure in Roman history, will forever be remembered for his rise from humble beginnings to the throne of the mighty Roman Empire.